guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Karai in her human form. That's right, this right here has got to be the #1 most requested figure from fans. It's our second Karai figure in this line, but the first time around, we got her as the mutated snake form, and a lot of fans were really upset that we didn't get her in her standard human form, especially since even as a snake in the show, she still morphs back and forth between her human form and that snake form. And she has become a fan favorite character on that show, so finally, we have action figure representation of her from Playmates Toys. As you can see, she comes in that standard blister card packaging that looks just like all of the other TMNT figures we see on the store shelves right now. When you flip that around to the back side of the box, we've got ourselves a new bio for Karai, and down below that a look at all of the other figures that are available in this lineup. The only other new figure I see on the back of the box here is Armagon, who is also supposed to be showing up with this wave. So let's go ahead and pull Karai outside of the packaging and take a closer look at her. Now, I noticed this right away in the box, but looking at her just standing here, I think it's pretty obvious that she already stands out as a really well done figure. The reasons I say that is because she's got a lot going on as far as the paint detail goes, and it's a pretty great sculpt to boot. So let's take a closer look here so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's start with the scale. You can see here that she stands just under 5 inches tall. This puts her a little bit taller than the Turtles, just as she should be, and a little bit shorter than some of the bigger figures in the line like Shredder. So the scale on her, I would say, is perfect. Now let's get a closer look at the sculpt here as well as the paint deco. We'll go ahead and start with the head sculpt there, which overall I feel is a really good likeness of the character from the show. She's got a little bit of a smirk there. You can see the eyes have a bit of an evil glare because she is kind of that tweener character, you know. She's not quite bad, but she's also not quite good. She's a little confused, but it really shines through in the sculpt. It's very nice, but what really makes it stand out is the paint deco. You can see she's fully painted on the face. The eyes look great because they got the black outlines. They've also got the red makeup kind of smeared across both eyes. We got the red lips there. And then she's got her signature black hair with the bangs hanging down on the side. And what I really like is on the back, it does have the blonde hair painted on, exactly as it appears in the show. I was pretty happy with that, because that right there is one of those paint details that we would normally see overlooked. In fact, on the snake version of this figure, she did not have the blonde hair painted. It was just all black and unpainted. So kudos to Playmates for actually giving us the blonde hair on the back. That looks very nice. Now the rest of the outfit looks great as well. You can see it's a great mixture of the silver painted over the black of the outfit. She's got the purple on the sash as well as a nice white on the stitching there. And looking down at the legs, it's the same thing. It's kind of that subtle silver. It's not super shiny. It's kind of more of a flat silver, but it still looks really nice on the black of the legs there, and silver again on the shins. There is no sculpting on here that has gone unpainted. So Playmates did an incredible job as far as the paint goes on this figure. I am very happy to report that nothing was left unpainted. In fact, let's look at her one weapon accessory. You can see she does have a sheath on her back, and that is locked in place. It is not removable, but we've got a sword in here. And did you guys notice something about this sword? Look at that. The hilt is painted. The handle on the sword is actually painted. We don't normally see paint on the weapons in this line from the Turtles, so they even painted the handle on her katana. I think that's fantastic. So, she can hold on to the katana with either of her hands. I will point out it's a little loose fitting. She doesn't have quite as tight of a grip as I'd like with the right hand. It's much better with the left hand. Now, I will say that it's pretty nice because even though there is not a lot of articulation with the arms, you can still get some two-handed poses. So let me break down the articulation real quick before we get into that a little bit more. Here's what we've got with this figure. The head is ball jointed, so you can roll it all the way around. You can move it left and right. She's got those ball-like hinges at the shoulders, so the arms can go outwards, as well as move forwards and backwards. Now, there's no other articulation in the arms. Most likely it's because they are so skinny. They probably were unable to work in articulation. Kind of wish we had wrist swivels at the very least, but no other articulation there. However, she does have articulation at the waist. She's got the ball-like hinges at the thighs, so the legs can go outwards. They can move forwards and backwards. And then we've also got the swivels there. We have knee joints, which is something else we don't see a lot on these figures. And nothing else as far as the rest of the legs go or the feet. So it's a pretty standard amount of articulation. In fact, it's a little bit more articulation than we usually see. And like I said, you can actually pull off some pretty decent poses. Even though she doesn't have elbow bends or wrist swivels, she's still sculpted in such a way that she can get a two-handed grip on her katana blade. And there's actually some pretty good poses you can pull off with this figure, even though the articulation is limited. Now, the one other accessory that she comes with is the little face mask, the little ninja mask that covers up her face that we see her wearing sometimes in the show. It's got little tabs on the side, and that just fits under the bangs of her hair. It's actually quite clever. All you gotta kind of do is lift up those bangs a little bit. It clips on the face. It holds on very nicely by those bangs there. You can see it's a nice tight fit. It looks a little bulky on her face, which is to be expected from a piece of material that you put on over a sculpted face, but it still looks pretty good. So that way you can pose her with that ninja mask on if you want. So really nice that we've got a little bit of a variance with the display ability. So this particular figure looks pretty great when standing alongside the other baddies in the line. I mean, look at her standing alongside Shredder. It is awesome. And then, of course, rounding out some of the other characters from the foot, she looks really great with them. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Let's go ahead and stand her alongside that snake Karai that we already got in this lineup, just so you can see the two standing side by side, especially the human head sculpts. It's worth noting that this is a brand new head sculpt that also has better paint. It looks quite a bit better than the version that came on the snake figure. And just for fun, here she is standing alongside another version of Karai that was released back in the 2003 era of figures. She also had a figure that was in the TMNT movie line, but I don't have that one loose to display, but this way you can kind of see what she looks like compared to that older figure. So there you guys go. There is a look at the brand new human version of Karai. I gotta say, I really love this figure. I'm so happy that we finally have this character in the line, and the articulation is limited, but it's useful. You can get some good poses out of her, but mostly, I've got to applaud Playmates for really giving us a great painted figure with some really cool accessories to boot. I really feel like this was a bit of an apology from Playmates for not giving us the version of Karai that we originally wanted in this line. So here she is. She looks great. You can have her battling with Leo while Leo's begging her not to fight him. You can pose her with a foot. She looks great with this collection. So I gotta give a very special thanks to Playmates Toys for sending this Karai along so we can get a good look at her outside of the packaging. But she is already starting to show up on store shelves right now. She's starting to creep out at places like Walmart. People are already finding her. So keep a lookout, guys. Happy hunting! And until next time, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe? That way, you never miss out on one of my Ninja Turtles reviews. Take care, my friends!